Media literacy is dying, and it's your fault. People are more and more using the term, the door was just blue, an expression that fucking high schoolers use to get out of doing their homework. The door being blue is typically a reference used to describe depression in stories. It's a metaphor. It's meant to represent depression, hence feeling blue. But for some reason, people have taken this phrase, the door was just blue, which was meant to be a joke phrase, and turned it into a way to discredit all media literacy and all critical analyzation of media. Within a text, a film, an animation, or anything, everything is put there on purpose. The amount of work and preparation that goes into writing a novel, making an animation, or making a film, there is no room for useless shit. Everything is there for a purpose. Everything is there with a purpose. So when the door is specifically pointed out to be blue, it means that the author put it there for a specific purpose. Now, this can vary depending on the media, depending on how it's written. There's a lot that can go into it. The issue isn't people analyzing media wrong, necessarily. It's that they refuse to analyze media.
Just let people enjoy things.
No. When people don't analyze the things they are consuming, especially when it comes to media, you end up getting an entire group of people who don't care what they're being served. Look at children's shows. When I was a child, I had things like Avatar: The Last Airbender. I had things like Regular Show, Adventure Time. These weren't necessarily the best shows in the world, but they had something deeper to them, and they covered specific themes and specific topics that were important. One of the reasons Avatar is such a great show is because it tackles the idea of masculinity and being a man. This is a topic I don't think many shows nowadays are really cut out to handle. Look at Steven Universe, for example. Now, Steven Universe is absolutely not the epitome of this problem, but oftentimes Steven Universe wanted to talk about specific messages in its storytelling. However, oftentimes it missed a lot of the nuance and couldn't portray them in a proper fashion. One could argue that telling a moral badly is just as bad, if not worse, than not telling one at all. I would say, at least there was a fucking attempt. Children are smarter than we give them credit for. The media they consume impacts them way more than we think it does. And yet for so long, every time I complained about the state of childhood media, to my sister, to my parents, to anybody, all that I heard was, they're children. They don't care. Missing the entire point that they're children. They don't know. We should care for them. And how many of the same people who said that I was overanalyzing it and that they didn't care are the ones that are currently complaining that there's no good movies coming out, that everything just feels like generic slop. It's because you gave the studios what they wanted. It's hard to tell a good narrative. It's hard to have impactful and meaningful storytelling. It's hard to write a good story. What's really easy is following a formula over and over and over again and having it make billions of dollars. And now we're seeing an entire generation of kids growing up, not being able to read, barely being able to do math or write, and yet we're blaming them for that. The way that you are killing media literacy, even if you analyze texts, even if you are one of those people, is you're not bitching about it enough. When we deprive this generation and the next one after that of good stories and good media, we are depriving them of good morals, good lessons, good ideas, and the creative and mental enrichment they need to become successful, functional people. Demand better. Demand things to be better than they currently are. Otherwise, hope you're ready for another 10 years of Marvel movies.